What's going on, y'all? This is your boy PETRYPERFECT, and we're back for another movie review. I just left the theaters. I just saw my most highly anticipated movie this year, Fantastic Four: First Steps. If you've been watching this channel, if you've been knowing me, if you've been part of our live shows, you know that I am crazy about my Marvel movies. I'm always going to see it on day one. I love to talk about this stuff. I love to go watch it. I love to go theorize about it. But this movie right here, they did it once and failed. They did it twice and failed. They did it the third time. But did they fail? Let's talk about it. Before we get into it, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you won't ever miss a video when we go live. We have live shows every Tuesday. I'm always dropping movie news weekly, trying to get new things going out, to create new conversations, to engage with every last one of y'all that's out there. I love the engagement. It gets me excited. It keeps me going. So please, if you ever have any suggestions, any comments, any theories, any rebuttal on what I said, please comment in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. Fantastic Four: The First Steps. Like I said, this is the third rendition of this movie. I think I said that word completely wrong, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to stick with it. This is the third rendition of this movie, and it was amazing. I enjoyed this movie thoroughly from start to finish. Now, this movie is not without its flaws. Of course, this movie has a few things that went wrong with it, but there was so much that went well. And when you're comparing it to the other two, the other two makes of the movie, it is light years ahead of those. So it's so much that we're going to talk about, but I want to make sure I tell everybody that this is a non-spoiler review. Non-spoiler means I won't talk about anything that's going to spoil the movie for you. This is just my overall thoughts of what I enjoyed about the movie. So we're going to break it up. We're going to do the good, we're going to do the bad, and then I'm going to give my overall thoughts at the end. So let's get into it. Let's start with the good. The good thing about this movie to me was the story. The story was amazing. Of course, the Fantastic Four, they're the first family of the MCU. So what does that mean when it comes to the story? You have to tell a family-driven story. Of course, Sue Storm and Reed Richards are married, with the brother-in-law is Johnny Storm, and then you have Ben Grimm as the Thing as well. This family, they always meet for lunch. They always meet for dinner at the exact time every day. Every Sunday, And in the movie, they even play a little joke because they were 1 minute late, which lets you know that they take this very serious, that we're going to sit down and have dinner, which is what you see in the trailers. Like, they make sure no matter what's going on in the world, that they're going to sit down and have dinner on Sunday evening. It's just what they do. But the story, of course, with Galactus coming, this celestial cosmic threat who wants something from them, something so precious that they don't want to give up, and it created an amazing story on sacrifice. Do you sacrifice one to save all? Do you sacrifice all to save one? It really played on that idea. And of course, even Reed, being the smartest man alive, there was times in this movie where he didn't know what to do. He was stuck. He was stumped. And I enjoyed that, because as smart as you are, you're not perfect, and you have to make decisions that sometimes not all about numbers and formulas. So I really enjoyed the story when it came to this movie. Another thing I thought about, and I didn't even realize this as I was watching it. This is kind of after I kind of got out the theater, and I was kind of just reflecting on the movie. The movie was absolutely beautiful on the big screen. Now, for me, I always go see my movies at AMC and Dolby Cinema. To me, that is the ultimate way to watch movies. I love IMAX, and that's cool. I like the little extra that comes with the Dolby Cinema. 4D is cool as well, but sometimes you move in a little bit too much in those seats, and I get whiplash being in those seats for too long. But this movie was absolutely beautiful. The Silver Surfer on screen, you could see it. The black when they're in space. You know, Dolby has that this is true black. This is the real black, and so it makes the colors pop out. So the space scenes were amazing. Galactus looked amazing. We're gonna talk about him in just a little bit, but the film was just beautiful. The city, Galactus walking through the city, the way that the powers looked, the stretching of Reed Richards, the flames of Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm. There was a little issues with Ben Grimm. We'll talk about him towards the end when we get to the bad. But Ben Grimm, for the most part, throughout the movie, looked amazing. Of course, Sue Storm and the way they showed her powers, she looked awesome. So they just so aesthetically, this movie looks amazing. It's so easy on the eyes when you're going to go. I believe that this movie also flowed very, very well. It did have a couple slow parts in it. Of course, being the first movie that's being introduced in the MCU. Of course, we've seen other versions of the movie, but now this is our version that had to be introduced into this movie. So there was a little bit of story building and character development that happened, and it was a little slow, but it was all important to the film. So I honestly thought that the movie flowed very, very, very well. To me, it wasn't jumping all over the place and going here, going here. That was kind of the big thing with the Superman movie. It was kind of a lot, and then it kind of slow down a lot, slow down a lot, slow down, slow down, slow down a lot. It was just a lot. It was just kind of all up and down. But this movie had a nice even pace to it, and it really had a flow of old Marvel movies, of the ones that we used to go see back in those days, where we used to enjoy these films and really walk out of each movie like, okay, that was the best movie. That was the best movie. It really had that good flow of it. So I'm not upset at it at all, and I really enjoyed the way that it flowed. I want to take a moment now to discuss the actors: Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and oh my God, I can't think of. I can't think of his name. That played Ben Grimm, but these actors were the perfect cast members for this movie. A lot of people were so worried about could Pedro be a good Reed Richards? Does he have the look? Does he have the vibes? Can he pull it off? And I must say that he did a really good job at pulling off Reed Richards. You felt how smart he was. You felt how much of a leader he was, how much of a father, a new father, how much of a husband how much he loves his wife, how much he loves his family. You really felt that from Reed. And then same thing, they didn't in a sense nerf or change uh Johnny Storm's Human Torch character. Still was a ladies' man, but I did feel like he got a lot of scenes where he really was able to flush out his character the way that it needed to be flushed out. So he was one that I feel like had a lot of scenes where we saw his powers a lot. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of Reed. You've seen a good amount of Sue. You didn't, and then the thing, but for me, it was Johnny Storm. You've seen a lot of his powers and a lot of what he was able to do in the film, because he was so vital to the plot of all of this. But they did a great job. We could talk hours for casting, but just must say they did an awesome job. I want to say one more thing before we go over to the bad. One of the reasons why I like going to the movies is because of the feel that you get when you're at the movies. That feel when you see things on screen. We all remember how we felt when we seen Hey Cap on your left and we saw the big scene come up. We remember how we felt when we saw when we saw Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire coming through the portals. It was one of those things. We remember how it is when you saw Loki and all these characters. But I had one of those moments in this movie, and that's when they first showed Galactus. Galactus looked amazing. His size, his voice, everything about it. He looked terrifying, as he should be, as he should have looked in all the other films that they should have had him in. So Galactus is amazing. He looked amazing. He sounded amazing. His presence was known throughout the film. And I know one thing, I hope this is not the last time we see Galactus. Now we're going to talk about the bad. It's not that much, but we got to be a little critical on some of these things because everything ain't perfect. So let's get into it. I'm going to stick with Galactus. To me, the things I loved about Galactus is why I had this critique on the bad of the film is there wasn't enough Galactus. I needed more Galactus. Every time he was on screen, it was like Thanos. It's like a Thanos movie, like a excuse me, an Avengers movie, Infinity War, and there wasn't enough Thanos. We need Thanos. We needed Galactus like we had Thanos. I know I'm being a little crazy here because Thanos had all these years to build up and get to know who he was here, so you can focus on him more. One of the things I was telling my buddies as we were leaving the theater is that I feel like I wish we would have met Galactus in another movie, and then he kind of got his longer debut in this movie, so we could have gotten more of him. But I'm thankful for the little that we did get, and it did kind of keep that mystique of him because he is a celestial, cosmic, superpower. So I'm thankful for what we did get, but I just wanted a little bit more Galactus in this film. Another thing that was that can seem that was a little funky was the CGI. I know a couple times where especially when Ben Grimm the thing was on screen, it just didn't look, I think they used motion capture, and you can tell it looked a little clunky when he was on screen on some scenes. At times he looked a little clunky, but throughout majority of the movie, especially when he grows his beard that you see in the trailer, all that looks good. Is when he was kind of, it really only, now I think about it, was only the scenes where he was in the middle of the street or something like that. It was when he kind of looked a little clunky, but other than that, he looked amazing throughout the film when he was fighting and all that good stuff. And then also Franklin, there was a couple scenes where Franklin looked like he was drawn on the on the drawn in on post production, so he looked a little weird to me at times as well. And but as that was more like on when you initially meet Franklin, but throughout the movie, and you can tell that they're using an actual baby, he looked fine from there on out. Then the way that they show different things, especially in the third act of the film, you can really tell. It was just, you didn't have to do too much. Then it's not like um, what is her name? It's not like what is my girl name from Game of Thrones when she was in Secret Invasion, and um they gave her all these superpowers, and then it looked all clunky. It wasn't that they didn't have to do. He Franklin wasn't on his Jack, if we know what I mean, from The Incredibles. He was not on his Jack in this movie. So if you're expecting to see him on his Jack, don't. He was not on his Jack, but you could tell that the Jack part of him is coming soon. So that was just like kind of like my only critiques on the movie. All in all, I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time at the movie theater with this movie. Um, some of the scenes in this movie was just, like I said, what was just really amazing to see. And this movie just does a little bit of everything. It gives you a little space. It gives you a little earth fighting. It gives you a couple villains. It gives you a lot of Easter eggs. It gives you all this dope stuff. It gives you a little bit of everything, so that way you don't walk away wanting nothing. And I think no matter what you see, when you see this movie, I think no matter what, you'll leave this theater or leave your theater with a sense of happiness, and you're gonna walk out smiling, just as we did, just as my buddies did, because you just seen them actually get it right. And Marvel is taking a good step forward, and I'll talk about this in a later video, but the quality of Marvel has definitely increased with Thunderbolts and now Fantastic Four. That's two in a row. Not saying they're perfect movies, but these are two movies in a row that they're getting right ever since they stopped producing so many products at one time and started focusing on quality over quantity. So I got to give Marvel and Kevin Feige a lot of credit for what for understanding where they went wrong, for holding themselves accountable and fixing the issue. And they definitely fixed the issue with this movie. With all of this being said, I don't know how I came to this number, but I like it, and I'm going to give this movie a 9.2 out of 10. That's how good this movie is. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm currently working on my list of ranking all my MCU movies from, well, now 37 to 1. I don't know where this movie is going to land, but you definitely got to make sure you check out that video so that you can see where Fantastic Four lands in the grand scheme of things. So let's see. all in all, I hope you all get a chance to go out and see the movie. Go see it on the big screen. I know it costs a little bit more, but go see it on the biggest beautiful screen that whatever your theater has, because that's how you're going to get the full effect of this movie. It's definitely worth going to see. Take your family. We didn't get a chance to get the Galactus popcorn bucket. It has sold out. I overheard someone saying that they were at the theater at 11 o'clock this morning to get that popcorn bucket. So by the time we got there at 5 o'clock, the bucket was sold out. But I was able to get me a Fantastic Four cup, which I'm so excited that I can pair it up with my Superman cup. And that's, if I got to collect cups, then that's what I'm going to do. At least I have some kind of memorabilia from these theaters. So I think it's pretty cool that they're doing these cups and popcorn buckets. But let me know if you get a chance to go see it. Let me know what you think. Come back to this video. Let me know what you think. If you're thinking about going to see it, tell me, what are you expecting to see in this movie? Just comment anything that you're looking forward to in this movie. It is worth the watch. But until next time, this is your boy Peachy Perfect, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.